Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Soul Centered CEO Show. I am so excited to be back this week and joined by my dear friend and new member of the Soul Centered CEO Collective, Miss Catherine Just. Catherine, it is an honor to have you. Welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor to be asked to be here. I love you so much. This is a joy.
We always have the best time when we get together. And I think what's so fun, specifically about conversations with you, is that we've had such a history to get us to this now moment that I think it's always fun to share that story too, because what's so cool is our paths and our lives really we're vibey at the same time. We both love to travel, obviously,
Yeah.
create beautiful events and experiences around the world wherever we may find ourselves. We believe in the power of magic and miracles. And
Yes.
we both have fallen in love with some very specific, similar places, which I just love that so much, you know? So
No.
it's been so fun to be part of your journey. Getting to this now moment with you has been such a blessing, and it's such an honor to be always to spend time with you, but specifically as we step into this container of the collective. I'm so excited.
Thank
So
you. Thank you so much. Yes, I know. I loved that when it's almost like we came full circle. Like I needed to meet you when I met you so that now that
yeah,
everything aligned for this. You know what
right.
I mean?
Yeah, and it's always, I know the timing is always perfect,
Yeah.
but it is fun because I was able to watch you and be inspired by a lot of the things, and I think it just was like this
I know.
natural in the same places. Like we both fell in love with Morocco, and then we fell in love with Valbonne in the south of France, and then of course our beautiful apartments in Paris. We've
I
just
know. It was really amazing to watch you and what you were doing too. And both of us had these ideas separate from each other. We didn't know.
we
And then
did.
I'd be in France and I'd look over and see that you were in France and you
Yeah.
were creating events, and I was too. I was doing my artist retreats in the south of
Yeah.
France. And
Yeah. So it's cool.
it
It's
is really,
fabulous. And it has been so beautiful to watch, your evolution, coming from, maybe one part of your work, and then another part started coming in, and now to me it feels like where you are right now is just this full manifestation of all your glorious talents and gifts into these very beautiful offerings that you're creating. And so I would love for our listeners to have a little bit more understanding of kind of how you got where you are now. It hasn't been an easy journey, right? And I think most of us that have gone through what we've gone through, we've been able to then create magic from the mess and create blessings from that as well. So if you want to maybe share a little bit about your story, I can't hear you right now, so
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All
Fabulous.
right.
Okay. So
I'll
yeah,
get,
dive right in and just share with us kind of where where you've been on your path, and then how you have weaved that into what you're doing now, within your teachings and your offerings that you've created. So, of
absolutely. And I just want to point out that it's 11:11 where I am right now.
course it is. That
I
means it's
don't think that
11.
doesn't, I know it's like a perfect timing. And
Mm-hmm.
thank you. And yes, yes, yes to all the things you said. So my journey, I I'm going to go all the way back
Yeah.
and say
Yeah.
that at 13 years old to the age of 18, I basically was using drugs and alcohol to deal with my deregulated nervous system, trying to cope with what was happening in my house, and my sensitivity to processing that, and not knowing how. Uh, I come from an alcoholic family, and and that also included verbal abuse, physical abuse, and other such things because they hadn't dealt with their trauma from their childhood, and it was just getting passed down through the generations.
Right.
And I took it all very personally and very hard, as a young person would, and found myself drinking, and it felt better to drink than to not, and found myself from drinking to then smoking pot to then using crystal meth, which I never thought I would do in a billion years because that's for real drug addicts, not for me. And then I found myself just as a result of opening that doorway, finding myself using crystal meth and becoming addicted at 16 years old. And by 18 years old, when I graduated high school, I was on my knees and I did not want to be here anymore. And the
Yeah.
pain was so great, I really wanted to die. And I heard a voice in my head that said, "There's more to this life than what you're living." And I heard it and told my parents that I had a drug addiction and that I needed help. Went to treatment, got sober at 18, and have been sober for 33 years now, as of January 6th of the year that we're doing this interview. Um, and I'll have 34 years in August,
Oh,
August 18th.
wow.
So my journey starts with understanding that there's more to this life, and becoming curious. And I feel that that voice that said that to me, I was like, well, what is it? What is that? I'm curious. What if I get sober and then wait and see what that voice meant? And I still am listening to that. I'm still looking, like somebody today said, you showed up at this meeting and you said this thing, and now my life is this. And I thought, and I said it to her, I said, maybe that was the thing that, I got sober for that. I have no idea, but I'm available and open, and it's exciting to move through life on life's terms. And it's not always joyful, and there is darkness and depression and all of that also present at times. And I get to lean in and see what the miracle is on the other side of that, when I've
Oh,
waited
so beautiful.
and yeah, when I've leaned into and listened to what could possibly be the miracle on the other side of this pain. I've been very pleasantly surprised by the things that have happened in my life that I couldn't have predicted in my own mind.
Yeah.
So that's the beginning and
Well,
the
and I think it's,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, but that's a huge foundational piece of now the work that you're creating the world, right? You're taking that awareness and the blessing, and you're channeling it. I think what I've always admired about you is how you take all the feelings, the good ones, the bad ones, the darkness, the light, all of it, and you create art, you create beauty, you create, like it pours through you
Yes.
into bodies of work that are stunning.
Thank you.
So I would love for you to maybe share a little bit about that, maybe that process.
Yes, I actually went from treatment to, I moved from San Diego to Minneapolis, and I checked myself into art school. Like, I didn't know what else to do with myself. So I went to art school and I learned
Yeah.
something about conceptual photography that I didn't know existed before. And I felt a connection to these artists that I didn't know existed in a very emotional way, not just because their work was beautiful, but something underneath the surface of that was really moving to me. And I learned that I could use my feelings as my topic, as my subject, as the thing that I explore in my artwork, and create something visual out of something that I have a hard time saying verbally. I was very, very nervous around people, and I didn't know how to express myself for a long time. This conversation would have never happened early in recovery. I couldn't look people in the eyes. I was terrified, and so making art was a way for me to start learning how to express that, and it changed my life, and it continues to. So I have a 30+ year experience taking my life and what's going on underneath the surface, what I'm not sharing, what the things that I'm curious about that are happening inside relationship that we don't actually see with our eyes, and try to excavate and create something from that place. I'm curious about the space between the words, and so my journey has been to also give that back, to offer classes and courses for other people who may or may not think of themselves as artists, but have a phone or whatever, and take what they're feeling and turn it into something beautiful. It's alchemy. It really is a way to express in a way that we don't give ourselves permission to. So it is permission, it is allowing, it is finding your voice, it is, saying yes to yourself over and over. And then I'm just going to, segue into that. I at 10 years recovery, I found Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the book The Four Agreements, and I went to
Love.
a workshop and felt like I had found, I didn't know what they were talking about, because it was just this spiritual practice. I didn't know what they were talking about, but I felt like I was home. And so I was apprenticed with Miguel, um, and it opened everything. I think the work that I do now is a result of the work that I continue to do around the Toltec path, and becoming awake to the suffering that happens because of the things I'm thinking. and
Mm.
and I want to offer that to everyone that I can, that suffering can be optional in many instances, and that you can actually use the Toltec practice in your artwork, and then that the expansive experience of art making and of living in life shifts, and that we get to be artists of our life. That is, I feel like I'm making love with life when I'm making my art, when I'm connecting with another human being, when I'm showing up to the present moment, when I'm listening to what is triggering me and turning it into the treasure of a piece of artwork. It's just, it has been life altering, and I love sharing that work as well.
Oh, and it's absolutely beautiful. And you really just said so many of my favorite things all in one moment. It's like giving yourself permission, the allowing, the making love with life, create beauty, and as a way of healing as well.
It's an honor. Yes.
And
Thank
it's an
you.
inspiration to help other people live that way as well. Because really, isn't that what it's all about? Like, we
Yeah.
should be in love with our life.
Yes. It makes me emotional hearing you talk about it, and getting really in touch with how things have shifted for me, and then how I've been able to be of service to the planet
Yeah.
by being open enough and getting out of my own way. And I love teaching that and offering that. Like, we get in our own way because we think something about ourselves that's not even true,
Right.
and we use it against ourselves, and we don't make our art, we don't put it out because we've decided something based on something somebody said to us when we were 5, when the whole world is open, and we keep ourselves from the potential that is unlimited, really unlimited.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, and I think what's so beautiful too, and why I'm just so thrilled to have you inside of the CEO Collective is because you really are an embodiment of a soul centered human. Like you have created a soul centered business and life, and they're
Yes.
so fused together. And you have a heart for service, and you've created a way to spend your life in service to others by sharing your gifts and sharing your heart and sharing your passion. I think it's so beautiful, and it's such an honor to have you on this journey with us. And I'm just so excited because I know that right now you've been working on a few things that are really what I would say the culmination of all of the years, not only your personal experience in recovery, but also all of the Toltec wisdom, the art, the everything, the coming together of all your passions, if you will.
Yeah.
So would you maybe share a little bit about what you're creating and how people might be able to be part of your world? Like, what are
Yeah. I
the
would love.
ways they can experience your magic, darling?
Yeah, it's very exciting for me to have come to a place where I am merging very specifically the Toltec path and those practices with my artwork, and all the classes I've taught up to this point have now merged into this one 12-month program with me, where you are basically apprenticed to a Nagual woman from Miguel Ruiz's lineage of the Toltec path, myself, and somebody who uses art as medicine. And I've combined it to create a program called the Awakened Artist. So
Mm.
it's not just about giving yourself permission, it really is about awakening on all levels. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm offering a 5-day free course January 18th through the 22nd, so people can get juicy tidbits of what, a taste of this medicine before they, dive into a 12-month program with me. And I'm going to teach the activation practice that is from a lot of my teachers. I've combined it all together with writing and visual and audio, and I mean, it's jam
Gorgeous.
packed. And the Toltec path and the meditation practice. I mean, it's just, um, if you can come to the 5-day free course, you will not be disappointed with the things that you can actually implement right away.
Beautiful. Well, I definitely want to share those links in the show notes. So we'll make sure that our listeners will be able to at least get that 5-day
Yeah.
experience with you,
Yeah.
and then just see. You never know, right? I think it's
Right.
I think anytime we explore our creative side, and I think especially after the year we've just come through, I feel like there's so many more people that are opening up to more parts of themselves, if that makes sense. Like maybe they, like you said, they never thought of themselves as an artist, but for some reason now they're feeling drawn to like create, being surrounded by beauty, since most of us are home a lot more than usual,
Yes.
both of us included, right? Giving ourselves permission to be surrounded by beauty is such a healing element that we all, I think, would benefit from. So
You know
I
what?
love that. Is there any other? What,
I was
darling?
going to say too that one of the
Go ahead.
biggest things that I teach is about the self-doubt piece and the hesitation and the perfectionism that gets in the way of us actualizing our potential as artists and as beings on the planet. And that's a lot of the work that I do, is really excavating these beliefs and stories that we have that cause us to doubt ourselves and not move in the direction of our dreams. I find that that's key to everything, and to have a nervous system that
Yeah,
feels safe and regulated to be able to move into the unknown of expansion.
right. So
So
well, that's so beautiful. Sorry,
thanks.
puppies on the move right now. No, sir. Puppies on the move. Hang on, guys. Sorry about
No
that.
problem. Let me see. Oh my God,
Little kid.
I'm in love.
Isn't he just the sweetest? But it's a little anxious on the videos,
And the sweater.
but it's okay. I know. I can't handle it. It's too cute. So,
I-
Catherine, is there anything else as we close out, or a closing thought that might be of benefit to people that are listening?
that's a good question. I just really believe in the power of changing your mind, and that it is possible to
Yeah.
change your mind and to have a totally different experience of living that involves an experience of making love with life itself in ways that you didn't think possible,
Mm,
and to take the things that trigger you and shift them and become a shapeshifter, and use that to heal the past, and you can,
beautiful.
and move toward your dreams in a way that you never thought possible. I love that that's been true for me as a result of the work that I've done, and I love sharing that with other people, that it is possible.
Oh, and it is. It absolutely is. So beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah.
for your gift and who you are in the world, and for showing up and being so willing to share your story and your path. I think it serves as inspiration now as it did 30 years ago, and as it will for 30 more years to come. So
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
it's a blessing.
I love you so much.
And for any of you listening that want to be part of a beautiful community, we would love to have you in the Soul Center CEO Collective. It's really based around being in collaboration, in partnership, knowing that you're not alone, right? Because these entrepreneur paths can be lonely at times, and so we're creating something really beautiful. So we'd love to welcome you into that, and as well as just is the possibility of creating more, expanding impact, and knowing that when we make more, we can give more, which is also one of the elements of being a soul-centered CEO. So thank you
Thank you.
for being here. It's such an honor and a blessing. I'm so excited to journey with you this year, and
Me
excited
too.
to be part of this 5-day boot camp and see what magic unfolds from there. So thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. And again, we'll make sure that all the details, if you want to join Catherine for her 5-day experience, are available. So, all
Thank
right. Thank you, darling. Have a wonderful day.